Hello once again to all my second semester students. Today I'm going to talk about a play which is part of your core course 3, and the play is called Mrcchhakatika in Sanskrit, which is translated as The Little Clay Cart in English. Okay, it's a 10-act play. It's a 10-act Sanskrit play which is attributed to King Sudraka. Okay, Sudraka or King Sudraka, spelled as Sudraka. Shudraka, there's not much known about him. He's believed to have lived in the 5th century Common Era CE. He was believed to be a Kshatriya king, and in the prologue of the play, there is a sort of eulogy or praise where the king is talking about his own self. So, apart from that, there is really not much we know about the author, the dramatist, and he's not known for any other work apart from Mrcchhakatika or The Little Clay Cart. Okay. The play is set in the ancient city of Ujjaini during the reign of King Palaka near the end of the Pratyotya dynasty, which was the first quarter of the 5th century BCE, before Common Era. So remember, the text is written in 5th century Common Era, whereas it is based in 5th century before Common Era. So between the time of the writing of the text and the time of the plot of the text, there is a good 500,000 year gap. Okay, so the main characters of the play are Charudatta. He is an impoverished Brahmin and he is in love. His love is reciprocated with a courtesan called Vasantasena. Okay, courtesan, Courtesan, courtesan it's a good term to refer to a prostitute, but then again, the right term for her would be a Nagarvadhu. Okay, Nagarvadhu. Now, who were the Nagarvadhus? Okay, in ancient India, as you know, customs were very different from the ways, from the customs in modern India. Okay, a Nagarvadhu refers to a public woman. Okay, unlike the woman who belongs within the household, the woman who is married and who is the wife, etc., the public woman had a lot more freedom and a lot more agency. Okay, and the public woman was also respected. Okay, she's called the Nagarvadhu. She's a courtesan and she's well versed in all the arts. Okay, the arts of dancing, the arts of singing, the art of dancing, the art of singing, the art of lovemaking. She's versed in all of these arts. Okay, so these Nagarvadhus were very famous public figures in ancient India. They were highly respected, and their clients had to pay a lot of money to be able to not just enjoy their song and dance, but to also be able to spend one night with them. Famous instances of Nagarvadhus include Amrapali. She is a follower of the Buddha, and there's also a play called Amrapali based on the character of Amrapali, and Vasantasena, who was also a real life character. So Vasantasena is a real life character, and she's an example of a Nagarvadhu. Okay, the text, also remember one more thing about this play, it deviates from the Natya Shastra. Now, what is the Natya Shastra? The Natya Shastra is written sometime around circa 200 BCE to 200 CE. Okay, there's once again a 400-year gap, so one never really knows the exact date of composition of the Natya Shastra. And remember, when I was teaching you in the last semester, I had talked about Aristotle's Poetics. Okay, remember I told you that the formula of tragedy is outlined, Greek tragedy, classical tragedy is outlined in Aristotle's Poetics. Similarly, the counterpart to Aristotle's Poetics would be, in India, would be the Natya Shastra. It is attributed to Bharat Muni or Bharata Muni, dates circa 200 BCE to 200 CE, and the Natya Shastra outlines the different sort of formula or the different modes through which a play must express itself in classical India. Okay, just similar to Aristotle's Poetics. Okay, and one thing that the Natya Shastra states is that an ideal play should be dealing with the lives of the nobility or the people of blue blood, royalty, nobility, etc. Now, this text, that is Mrcchhakatika, it deviates from the tradition of the Natya Shastra in that it does not show just the lives of the nobility. Okay, it's also showing you the lives of the commoner or the common man. Okay, so it deviates from the tradition of the Natya Shastra, unlike Sudraka's other contemporary writers such as Kalidasa, whose play you also have, Shakuntala, you have that in your syllabus. Another famous dramatist was Bhavabhuti. Okay, Bhavabhuti, Kalidasa, these are famous dramatists of classical India who are more or less following the rules that are outlined in the Natya Shastra. Okay, but Mrcchhakatika deviates from that in the sense that it talks about the life of the commoner. Okay, and also remember the world that is shown, that is depicted in Mrcchhakatika, or the little the little clay cart, is also far more cosmopolitan than that of Kalidasa Shakuntala. Now, what do I mean by cosmopolitan? Remember something that Shakuntala is again a story of a courtly, a king, a member of the court, of course, Dushyanta, who falls in love with this maiden called Shakuntala. Okay, but here we are looking at the lives of commoners. Okay, the main character Charudatta, who is an impoverished Brahmin, he is not of he's not of blue blood. Okay, he does not belong to the group of the nobles. He's not of noble birth, and although he is Brahmin, he is born in a high caste, but he doesn't belong, he's not a member of the nobility. Okay. Similarly, you have other characters who are thieves, who are gamblers, and of course you have the central character of Vasantasena, who is a courtesan or a Nagarvadhu. Okay, none of these characters are characters who belong to the nobility. Okay, so this is a way in which the play Mrcchhakatika deviates from the tradition as outlined in the Natya Shastra. Also, another crucial thing, remember, unlike Kalidasa Shakuntala, which of course is translated into English, but where all the characters in the original play all of them are speaking in Sanskrit. In this particular play, only a few characters, like Charudatta, who of course is a Brahmin, a poor Brahmin, the courtier, Sarvilaka, they are the only characters who speak Sanskrit. All the other characters, including Vasantasena, they are all speaking Prakrit. Prakrit is the local, different kinds of local dialects. Pali is also an example of Prakrit language. Prakrit is the vernacular language, okay? It's not the language of the court. The language of the court is Sanskrit. So you have different languages being spoken in the play. This is an important thing to note, and that is what I mean when I say that Sudraka's Mrcchhakatika is very cosmopolitan in character. It's showing you a mixture of the Hindu-Buddhist cultures of that particular period of time in ancient India, and it's also contains different languages. It has dialogues in Sanskrit, it has dialogues in Prakrit as well. So it is far more cosmopolitan in character than, say, Kalidasa's Sakuntala. Okay. Now, the play has been variously adapted. One of the modern adaptations was in 1850 by someone called Gerard de Nerval. Okay, this was a French adaptation. It was called Law, L-E Law, Chariot d'Enfant, D''E''N''F''A''N''T. Okay, Law, Chariot d'Enfant. This was in 1850. Okay, and also there is a 1905 translation, the version that we study. There's a 1905 translation into English from Sanskrit and Prakrit by Arthur W. Ryder. Okay, so Ryder names it the little clay cart. So this is where the English name comes from. It belongs to the 1905. It owes itself to the 1905 translation by Arthur W. Ryder. Okay. There is also a 1984 film, and you should see the film. I will share the link. The full film is available on YouTube. You should see the film because it's based exactly on the incidents that are outlined in the play. The film is called Utsav. It is not called Mrcchhakatika. It's called Utsav, and it was directed by a very famous playwright, Girish Karnad of Maharashtra. Okay, it's got Rekha as Vasantasena and Shekhar Suman as Charudatta. I will send you a link of the film later, the YouTube link. So once you see the film, you will have a clear idea about the plot of the play. Okay. Another thing to note is that this play, Mrcchhakatika, it does not base its plot upon characters from epics or mythologies, okay? And it is showing you the life of common people, which is very important to note. Once again, I told you it is not following the formula or the tradition of the Natya Shastra, okay? The main characters, very briefly, very quickly, are Charudatta, Vasantasena, Maitreya, who is a friend of Charudatta, and he's another poor Brahmin. There is Vardhamanaka, who is Charudatta's servant. There is Madanika, very important character. She is a maid and a confidant of Vasantasena. Okay, she has a lover called, his name is, Madanika has a lover. His name is Sarvilaka, okay, and he will become an important character because he will try to buy the freedom of of Madanika from Vasantasena. Okay, we will see how that happens. And also remember Sarvilaka, who is Madanika's lover. Sarvilaka presence in the play, he is a foil, he's a contrast to the character of Charudatta. Okay. Charudatta is married, by the way. Of course, in those day and age, only till very recently, till the 1950s, Brahmin men could have multiple wives. So, polygamy was something which was very common in the Hindu society, and it was very common in classical India as well. So, Charudatta, the fact that he has a wife at home does not prevent him from falling in love with another woman. Okay, this is the way of ancient India. So, Charudatta has a wife at home, not a very important character. Her name is Dhuta, and he also has a young son. The son will become important, called Rohasena. Okay, now the main antagonist of the play is someone called Samsthanaka. Okay, Samsthanaka, he's a cruel, despotic monarch. Okay, he is the king, he's the proxy king. He's serving on behalf of Palaka. And now who is Palaka? Palaka is the king, and Palaka has exiled Aryaka, who is the true heir to the throne, and Aryaka is living in exile and Palaka is ruling, and one of Palaka's mistress, concubines, brother is Samsthanaka. So Palaka is away and Samsthanaka is ruling the throne instead of Palaka. Ultimately, you will see at the end of the play, Palaka will be deposed and Aryaka will be brought back from exile and he will take the throne. So this is also a play about a change of political leadership. This is important. You must keep this in mind. At the same time, whereas it is talking about the life of the commoner, it is also a play which shows how kingship patterns changed in ancient India. Remember, ancient India is not like modern India, and it comprised of separate different kingdoms, okay, throughout the north and south, and these kingdoms were often at war with each other. So wars of successions were very common, okay. So the play will end with Aryaka coming to power and dethroning Palaka, okay. It involves a change of kingship, okay. So then there is Samsthanaka is an important character, and Samsthanaka is in love with, he'll become he's the main villain or antagonist of the play. He is in love with Vasantasena, but Vasantasena loves Charudatta and she doesn't return the affection of Samsthanaka. When you're watching the film, which I'll be sharing the YouTube link of which I'll be sharing with you, the character of Samsthanaka is played by Shashi Kapoor, okay. There is also the character of the shampooer of the masseur. Masseur means a person who massages you. The masseur or the shampooer of Charudatta, he's not a very important character, but he has one crucial role towards the end of the play. You will see that he will become a Buddhist monk and he will save Vasantasena from the brink of death. Okay. Now there are other minor characters such as the judge, the executioner, etc. Okay. There is a prologue of the play, and I've already told you the prologue contains an eulogy. The play is written by Sudraka, King Sudraka, and it contains a self-praise or eulogy. Okay, so the prologue has an eulogy about King Sudraka himself. There are 10 acts in the play. Act 1, I'm just naming the acts for you. Act 1 is entitled The Gems Are Left Behind. Act 2, The Shampooer Who Gambled. Act 3, The Hole in the Wall. Act 4, Madanika and Sharvilaka. Act 5, The Storm. Act 6, The Swapping of the Bullock Carts. Act 7, Aryaka's Escape. Act 8, The Strangling of Vasantasena. Act 9, The Trial. Act 10, The End, followed by an epilogue. Okay, so in my next lecture, I'll be giving you a detailed outline of the plot, and I'll be discussing some of the major characters and themes of the play. Okay, so much for now. Have a good day.